Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Carolyn, and in this video I'm going to be comparing the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette to the Colourpop C-3PO palette. I got this earlier this year, half price. It normally retails for $49, and I highly recommend that you get any Urban Decay Naked palettes on sale, because they always go on sale at some point during the year, usually for half price. So I would recommend never paying full price for an Urban Decay palette. That's just my opinion. And then this retails for $16. I got this for collector's purposes, packaging purposes. Now I have the whole set of Star Wars from Colourpop back there, and this is like missing from its spot there. So yeah, I had to get this for the collector's packaging purposes, but I did think during the pictures and everything that it was similar to this. So I just wanted to do a comparison of these two palettes, so hopefully help somebody make a decision if they already have this palette, or maybe if you're, I know most of us have, there's a lot of people probably already have this palette, but maybe you don't have it and you're eyeing this one, and maybe you could get this one instead. Or if you already have this one and packaging doesn't matter that much, and but you were thinking this was a pretty palette, maybe you don't need to get this one. So that's just what this video is going to be, is just comparing these two. I'm wearing the Colourpop one on one of my eyes and the Naked Honey one on another on the other eye. So yeah, in this video I'm going to be doing some swatches comparing the two palettes, and then an eye look to see how they perform on the eyes. And then I'm going to do a check-in at the end of the day just to see how the performance is on the palettes, how well they held up, if there was any creasing in any formula, if there was fading, that kind of thing, just to help you in making a decision. So if that sounds interesting to you, then just keep on watching. Okay, so here are the palettes side by side. This is the best way that I could get them in frame. But now I'm going to swatch them together, the most similar shades side by side. I'm just going to swatch the Naked Honey first. And I'm just going from the shade Sting down to Flyby. This honey shade, I always have to build up with my finger, but it always applies fine on the eyelids. Okay, so that's the Naked Honey swatched out. Hope you can see. Okay, so I'm just going to start off with like swatching the dupes that I found next to each other, and then I'll just swatch out the rest of the palette with the most similar shade. So Programming, I feel like, was the most similar to the shade Sting and the Naked Honey, the darkest shade. And then Etiquette is most similar to Golden. Translator is most similar to Honey. And Companion is most similar to Swarm. So these shades aren't identical, but they're similar. And the shade 6 Million is most similar to Drip, although this one is a sequin shade, so it does have some glitter particles, but in my experience, the glitter doesn't show up on the eyelids. So those 5 shades were the most similar ones that I found in swatching these out side by side. So now I'm just going to swatch the rest of this to the closest one. Okay, so this side is the Colourpop C-3PO palette. And then this side is the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. And as you can see, they aren't exact dupes for each other. I mean, the Naked Honey is 12 pans and this is 9 pans. So there's that difference. The Naked Honey does offer more transition shades, but they are pretty similar, and I feel like you will get some similar looks with these palettes. So let's move on to the eyeshadow look. Okay, so I'm gonna do this eye Colourpop and this eye Urban Decay Naked Honey. I think I'm just gonna do one eye at a time. First I need to prime and set my eyelids, so. And for primer, I use the Ulta matte eye primer. This is my favorite one I've tried so far. And then for setting my eyes, I'm just using the Rimmel Stay Matte powder in the shade Natural. Okay, I'm going in with the shade Companion. And if I might speed this up, I'm not sure yet. It depends on how long it takes. Hopefully this is just a quick look. And this is just to see how the shadows compare in terms of like performance and the way they actually look on the eyelid, and just how similar they are applied. And I'm just using a fluffy brush. I think I got this in a set from brush set from Amazon. I don't know. I've had all my brushes are just a mix of brushes that I've had for a long time. Okay, then I'm going to take, I think this was like the MAC 224. The number is rubbed off, or it's a Sigma one. But it's just slightly smaller than the previous blush, but blending brush. Okay, and then I'm gonna go into programming. And I'm just gonna put this, I'm barely tapping my brush in because I don't want too much to come off. And I'm just going to put this on the outer corner. Okay. Now I'm going to take my NYX glitter primer and put that on. I use the NYX glitter primer with every shimmer, so it just makes it like more impactful. And I don't put very much on, but it helps a lot. And then I'm going to go in with the shade Etiquette on the outer portion of my eyelid, and then Translator on the inner portion. And then I'm just wiping the brush off on this towel. It's a hand towel. So yeah, now I'm going in with that gold shade Translator. This shade here. And just blending those is mainly just to see how similar the similar shades are when they're actually on the eyelids. I'm gonna put a little bit more of the Etiquette shade on, and then I'm just gonna take a clean brush and just very lightly go over this just so that the shimmers are a little bit more look a little bit more blended. If you do too much of this, it can like cause creasing, so just be really gentle with it. And then I'm just gonna quickly touch up the dark brown it's the shade Programming, just in the outer corner. Okay, so there is no shade for the inner corner shade. What I would use for the inner corner shade doesn't match in the palette, so I'm just gonna go in with the shade for the inner corner, and my inner corners will probably look different, but this is the shade Bolt, and I'm taking like a pencil brush for that. I'm just going to quickly go underneath my eye with the shade Companion. And this is it's actually with the Naked Honey brush, but just kind of like sort of flat shader brush. But I just am popping this underneath just to give some balance. I'm going to go back and do mascara at the end. But now let's go into the Naked Honey palette. And I'm going to be using the same brushes. I don't have like multiple brushes for that are the same, but I'll just be wiping them off on this towel. So, okay, I'm going to go in with the shade Swarm here with the fluffy brush I used earlier. Taking this brush and going into the shade Sting. I'm gonna do my NYX glitter primer. I'm gonna go in with the shade Golden on the outer portion and Honey on the inner portion. And then I'm using this flat brush again. Doing the same thing on this side. And so I did notice fallout with the Urban Decay and not with the Colourpop. So that's something to keep in mind. I usually don't pay attention to fallout because I do my because I always do my eyes first because of fallout, but for the purposes of this video, I did my base first. So anyway, that's just something to note. I also feel like the Urban Decay side is a little bit more difficult to blend, so it's not blending as seamless as this side. At least that's what I'm seeing in the camera or on my phone. I'm filming on my phone, but yeah, I feel like this side looks a little bit more seamless than this side, and I don't think I've done less blending on this side, but we'll just blend a little bit more. I'm just being a little bit nitpicky about the differences just so you can really see the whole thing, but normally these things wouldn't really bother me that much. I'm just trying to pay attention to all the differences. For my inner corner on this side, I'm going in with the shade Flyby and using that same pencil brush. And then for underneath my eye, I'm going in with the shade Swarm. And now I'm just going to put mascara on But these are the eye looks. This is Colourpop. This is the Urban Decay. You'll have to let me know what you think in the comments. But I would say these are offer pretty similar looks. Okay, and that is the finished eye look. So, what do you all think? Do you think they're pretty similar? I think they are. So I'm just going to do a check-in at the end of the day to see how well each side held up, if they're similar in longevity and just similar in how they wear, or just comparing how they wear. So yeah, the next time you see my face, it'll be several hours later. Okay, so it's the end of the day. I'm about to take off my makeup, so I wanted to show you how both sides are looking several hours later. So again, this is the Urban Decay side, this is the Colourpop side. I actually think the Colourpop side outperformed the Urban Decay side in my opinion, which I was kind of surprised about, because I really do love the Naked palette, but I do think the quality is here on the Colourpop palette. I think the darker shade, the shade programming in the Colourpop side outperforms the deepest shade in the Naked Honey palette, shade Sting. I do think that this shade in particular is better in the Colourpop side. And I also asked my husband which side he thought looked better, and he said the Colourpop side. He said the gold shade was a little bit more sparkly or shimmery on this side. And he also mentioned the darker shade on the outer corner being better on this side. So but they are similar enough to where if you have this, if you have the Naked Honey, you really don't need the Colourpop. But if you don't have either, I'd probably recommend the Colourpop. However, you do get more options in this palette. You get some more, couple more shimmers in here and more matte transition shades. So this does potentially give you a more variety of looks than the 9-pan palette, which is to be expected if you're doing 9-pan versus 12 pans. But I do think, like personally, I am going to find someone to pass this along to, because I don't want too many I don't want too many eyeshadow palettes, and I don't want redundancy in my collection. And at this point, for me, this will be redundant. So I'm going to find somebody who doesn't have as many eyeshadow palettes as I do to pass this on to. But this is a great palette if you already have it, or if you would rather have more options than this one. But I would recommend getting this if you're looking for a palette that offers these kind of gold looks, you know. This is a great palette. So yeah, you really can't go wrong with either palette. I feel like both are good options. It just depends on, you know, how much you want to spend, if you're looking for more variety, if you buy palettes for their packaging. So anyway, I hope that this was helpful for someone. If you did find it helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. And please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I will see you in the next video.